Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a challenge that's, well, pretty pervasive in modern business. We're talking about those increasingly complex IT systems and all the uh, busy work involved in just connecting them. The tasks that make you sigh before you even click. What if there was a truly transformative solution to all that? Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to explore robotic process automation, or RPA. We're going to dive into what it is, why it's becoming so essential, how it actually works, its surprising benefits, some specific applications, and yeah, its broader impact on how we all work and live.
It's definitely a critical topic. I mean, if you look back over the last, say, 30 years, businesses have continually implemented just a multitude of new core IT systems. And this has created a landscape, well, strewn with disparate systems. It often leaves significant micro-level data processing gaps between them.
Gaps, right?
Yeah, and while some systems might integrate seamlessly, it's rarely a completely holistic solution, which means these gaps are currently filled by people doing manual tasks, often really simple, repetitive stuff like copying and pasting.
Copy paste,
Yeah.
the classic.
Yeah, exactly. It truly presents just a massive opportunity for automation.
I really see the problem of disparate systems when you put it like that. It reminds me, that old game Mousetrap?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Where you're trying to connect all these rickety parts, a bathtub, a bucket, a lamppost, those stairs, just to catch the mouse. Businesses often feel like that, don't they? Trying to tie together systems that weren't really built to speak to each other. And for way too long, we've relied on people to be the human middleware, right? Manually bridging these system gaps.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how RPA simplifies this
Right.
really dramatically. At its core, it simply emulates keystrokes and mouse clicks. That's it. It effectively does the same work with applications that people do, just by operating through the existing user interface. Now, it can call web services and APIs programmatically, for deeper integrations. But its real strength, its sweet spot, is automating those common problems where people are moving between screens or maybe going out to an external website and bringing data back into their internal systems.
So it's interacting like a human would.
Precisely. And this technology is fundamentally rules-based. It's crucial to understand that it doesn't think or interpret beyond its configured instructions. It follows the rules.
So if it's very rules-based and highly configurable to replicate specific user actions, what does that mean practically? Does it struggle with exceptions or need constant human oversight for those edge cases?
That's a really good question. It means it absolutely excels at highly repetitive, predictable tasks. Think about common applications suitable for RPA. Opening emails, logging into web applications, moving files around, copy and pasting data.
I copy paste again.
Exactly. Performing calculations, working with spreadsheets, filling in forms, loads things. And many organizations currently use RPA to reach out to external websites, maybe find documents or data, and bring that back into their systems. This is especially true as other companies automate their own interfaces or, new compliance rules pop up. The system needs to be told exactly what to do, but the beauty is it does it perfectly every single time.
That abstract definition is clear, but I think a real-world example would really bring this home for our listeners. Do you have a specific scenario in mind where this capability just shines?
Absolutely. A perfect real-world scenario we often demo is checking an Ohio physician's license using Highland RPA.
Okay, how does that work?
So the process starts when an item, let's say a physician's license check request, gets routed to a workflow queue. Think of it like a smart digital inbox where tasks are just lined up for automated processing.
Right, a queue.
A robot then monitors that queue. It lifts specific keyword information right off the document. Then it launches a web browser, navigates automatically to the Ohio license lookup site.
Without anyone touching it.
Exactly. The bot then literally types the keyword information into the site, just like a person would. It retrieves the license status, creates a viewable version, maybe a PDF, something easy to store, and then it updates keywords back in the on-base system or whatever content system the organization uses.
So updating the record.
Yeah, things like the status, effective date, expiration date, important details. And finally, it imports that generated PDF as an associated document, so everything's linked.
And this just runs.
This entire process can happen completely unattended by a bot. It can run thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of times. And if there are hiccups or maybe unexpected scenarios, the bot can be configured to handle simple exceptions itself, or maybe route a small percentage of unhandled items to a human queue for review.
That's just incredible. I can almost hear the collective sigh of relief from all the people who used to do
Mhm.
that manually, day in, day out. And you can imagine the potential complexity RPA can handle, like, say, validating licenses from all 50 states, where each state might have diverse, sometimes really cryptic external systems.
Exactly.
This ability to handle that kind of scale and complexity, it points directly to the transformative power and the core benefits of RPA, doesn't it?
Precisely. The key benefits are indeed pretty clear. First, there's what we call native system integration. Because RPA interacts with user interfaces, the UIs, it can work with pretty much anything you already have. Doesn't matter the version web-based, desktop-based, even those older green screen systems.
Wow, even green screens.
Yep. And the real insight here is that RPA offers this agile, non-invasive path to automation.
Mm.
Unlike massive system integrations that can take years and cost millions, RPA can bridge those gaps in weeks or months,
Mhm.
making your legacy tech truly future-ready without having to rip it all out.
That's a huge advantage.
It is. Second, it offers incredible scalability for enterprise-wide operations. You can just add more bots to handle increasing volumes as needed. And finally, it provides complete security and audit trails for the entire process, which is absolutely crucial for compliance and governance.
Okay, that's very clear. So, what does this all mean for people, for employees? There's often, understandably, a concern about job displacement when we talk about automation this powerful.
It is a very common and a very valid concern, absolutely. However, if you look at sources like Harvard Business Review, various academic studies, what they find is that most operations groups adopting RPA have actually promised their employees that automation would not result in layoffs.
Really? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Instead, workers are typically redeployed to do more interesting, higher value work.
Oh.
One academic study even highlighted that knowledge workers often viewed bots as teammates.
Teammates, huh?
Yeah, and that the technology allowed for more work and greater productivity with the same number of people, rather than necessarily a lower headcount. So, the profound insight isn't just that jobs aren't necessarily lost, but that the nature of the work itself is fundamentally elevated.
That sounds like the ideal scenario, really, moving from just a doing mindset to more of a thinking and innovating mindset. It's about freeing up the humans to do the human work
Exactly.
and letting bots do the bot work, allowing people to focus on higher level tasks, using their brain, making better decisions.
Exactly right. Professor Wilcox, who's a noted expert in this field, he characterizes this perfectly. He says technology has the ability to take the robot out of the human.
I like that phrase.
Yeah, it means bots handle the mundane, the repetitive portions of work, leaving people for the more engaging, creative, and critical roles.
Okay. And for those listeners thinking, all right, this sounds interesting. How do we actually get started?
Mhm.
You mentioned Highland offers a comprehensive RPA software suite designed for true end-to-end automation. Can you maybe walk us through how those components work together conceptually?
Of course. Yeah, the suite includes 4 core components, and each plays a vital role in that automation journey. First, there's the RPA analyst. This is really where you begin. It captures the existing human process. It's almost like teaching a robot by demonstration, recording the keystrokes and mouse clicks.
Okay, so it watches first.
Exactly. This builds the documentation and the sort of base level configuration needed to get bots into production quickly. Next is the designer. This is where you visually refine and build those rules using low-code drag-and-drop tools. It makes it accessible even for business users, people without deep coding skills.
Low code, that's key.
Very key. Then the conductor is the tool that actually runs the automated processes. It orchestrates the bots, makes sure they run on schedule, handles high volumes efficiently. And finally, there's the manager. This provides a central console for managing all your bots and processes. It gives you that control tower view.
A dashboard, essentially.
Precisely. Enabling real-time monitoring, controlling, and reporting. It ensures transparency and governance over the whole operation.
So it sounds like bots can even work collaboratively, maybe like a team lead and a bunch of workers. Is that related to this idea I've heard about breaking down processes into smaller reusable pieces?
Absolutely. You've hit on it. That's where the concept of artifacts and microbots comes into play. Processes can be broken down into these reusable parts, essentially. Pre-built mini automations for common steps. Think of them like building blocks.
Exactly.
These are stored in a central repository and then assigned to different production bots as needed. And this allows for significant optimization. I mean, instead of having, say, 6 average workers doing the same thing from scratch every time, you can have a smaller number of bots doing much more work efficiently. like having two super workers just running all day, reusing these optimized components to get processes done in the most efficient way possible.
That makes a lot of sense. Efficiency through reuse. Okay, if we broaden our scope a bit now, RPA is really part of a larger evolving trend called intelligent automation, isn't it?
Intelligent automation is indeed a much broader concept, yeah. And RPA is just one piece of it specifically. It handles the execution portion. Pascal Bornet, who's a leading voice in intelligent automation, has a really compelling vision for how these technologies fit together.
How does he see it?
Well, he outlines other segments of intelligent automation that complement RPA. For instance, vision. This is like optical character recognition, OCR, used to lift information off of documents visually. Hyland's Brainware product is an example of that.
Right, reading documents.
Then there's thinking and learning. This incorporates machine learning, ML, and artificial intelligence, AI, to enable bots to actually make decisions and learn over time. And then there's language support. This includes things like natural language processing, NLP, and speech analytics, similar to how we talk to our smart home devices, understanding and responding to language.
So intelligent automation, then, it effectively sits on top of that existing IT landscape we talked about earlier. It's not replacing those foundational systems like ERPs, the enterprise resource planning systems, the big backbones.
Correct, not replacing them.
But it focuses on automating activities currently performed by human workers, especially how they interact with those systems. It's like an intelligent overlay.
That's a great way to put it, an intelligent overlay. And this raises an important point about relevance, especially in today's world. Global challenges, often exacerbated by events like COVID-19, things like discontinued operations, dissatisfied customers, demotivated employees, and the huge effect all that has on cash flow. These are leading organizations to really leverage intelligent automation and RPA.
To cope better.
Exactly. The goal is to lessen the impact of these problems moving forward and provide tools to help solve them. Automation isn't just about efficiency anymore. It's increasingly about resilience, about adaptability.
Resilience, that's a good point. And building on intelligent automation, we then hear terms like hyperautomation. Gartner, the research firm, they emphasize that hyperautomation is the application of multiple advanced technologies, RPA, AI, machine learning, process mining.
All working together.
Right. All working together to augment workers and automate processes in ways that are significantly more impactful than just traditional automation. And they make it clear, Gartner says, RPA alone is not hyperautomation. It truly requires that combination of tools working in concert.
That's right. And RPA, even as part of that bigger picture, is gaining significant traction across just a huge variety of business processes and industries. Common areas where it's making a really big difference include finance and accounting, human resources, banking and finance generally, mortgage and lending processes, customer care, e-commerce, even social media marketing, and any general manual or repetitive tasks, especially anything involving data extraction.
And the real-world applications, the case studies, are quite impressive when you look at them. You mentioned Horry County, a local government agency, using Highland RPA to process, 30,000 property tax returns without any human interaction?
That's right, 30,000.
And then there's Stadtwerknews, a German utility supplier, saving 2,000 hours of labor each year. And Capita, an international professional services company, streamlining a really complex multi-stakeholder process, saving 750 labor hours in just a single year.
Yeah, the savings can be substantial.
These are tangible, really impactful results that go straight to the bottom line and presumably improve employee satisfaction, too, by removing the drudgery.
Absolutely. And this also has broader societal and geographic implications. Oxford University, for example, conjectures that up to 35% of all jobs might be automated by 2035.
35%? That's a big number.
It is. Now, developed economies with their existing skills and infrastructure, they're arguably uniquely positioned to achieve a net benefit from this trend. But what's particularly fascinating here, I think, is that RPA offers a kind of third sourcing option.
Third sourcing option. What do you mean?
Well, its ability to be hosted in practically any jurisdiction provides new opportunities, especially for organizations that might have political or regulatory hurdles to traditional offshoring or outsourcing. A robotized automation offers a fixed, predictable cost base, and it's independent of geography.
Ah, I see. That decouples the work from location in a new way. That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
But, okay, like any technology, current RPA solutions must have their limitations, right? It's not entirely a set-it-and-forget-it solution yet.
You're absolutely right. It's not quite there yet. RPA does demand continual technical support to handle system changes. This means it currently lacks the ability to autonomously adapt to totally new conditions.
So if something changes.
Right. If a website changes its login screen, or maybe a new field gets added to a form, or an external system updates its interface, a human intervention is often needed to reconfigure the bot, adjust the rules.
Okay.
It's a key area where AI and machine learning are beginning to complement RPA, allowing for more adaptive, more resilient automation. But it highlights that pure RPA on its own isn't entirely self-sufficient today.
And this brings up, I think, a really crucial distinction we should make clear. The difference between RPA and AI. Sometimes these terms get used interchangeably, but they're fundamentally different approaches to automation, aren't they?
Indeed, very different. RPA, as we've discussed, is based on automation technology following a predefined workflow. It's focused on reproducing tasks that are typically human-directed, essentially. It's automating the doing.
Doing the steps.
Exactly. In contrast, AI is data-driven. It focuses on processing information to make predictions, mimicking aspects of human intelligence, and utilizing self-learning technologies. So AI is more about automating the thinking and the learning to make decisions.
Doing versus thinking.
In simple terms, yes, they're powerful on their own,
Yep.
but truly revolutionary when combined effectively.
Okay. For those listeners intrigued by all this and maybe eager to explore its potential for their own work or business, you can absolutely start automating today. It sounds like there are very few barriers to entry, actually.
That's correct. There's really a wealth of resources available to get started. You can find online training courses anything from quick 20-minute e-learning modules all the way up to comprehensive 3-day developer certification courses. Those are on training.highland.com.
Training.highland.com.
Okay. You can also get hands-on pretty quickly by launching a demo lab with pre-configured workflow and RPA examples on try.highland.com.
Try.highland.com.
Yeah, that Ohio license demo we talked about earlier. It's available there for you to explore firsthand, click around, see how it works. Additionally, you can even download the RPA Analyst and Designer tools for 60 days to try in your own environment. Build your own simple automations.
Oh, wow. So you can actually build something yourself.
Yep, try it out. And of course, there are many additional resources like white papers, webinars, available to deepen your understanding further.
As we've been discussing this, what truly strikes me is the transformative potential of RPA, especially for the content services industry. You know, the whole field focused on managing and optimizing an organization's information assets. It really feels like a fundamental shift, maybe akin to the impact digital workflow automation had years ago for driving efficiencies.
I think that's a fair comparison, yeah. It's a major step forward.
So today we've taken quite a deep dive into robotic process automation. We've looked at how it streamlines operations, how it tackles those complex IT integration challenges, and perhaps most importantly, how it frees up human potential for higher level thinking and hopefully more fulfilling work.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you consider this transformative power of RPA, its power to automate routine tasks and connect those disparate systems we talked about, where do you see the greatest untapped potential within your own work or perhaps your organization to truly take the robot out of the human?
That's a really powerful question to reflect on. Where can you apply this? And if you're curious to learn more, remember those resources we mentioned just now. Go forth and explore the future of work.